Hi, it's Miss Lisa again from the Poplar Creek Library, and today I am bringing you all sorts of science experiments. We are going to do 3 different Halloween science experiments, so let's get started. The first one we're going to make is a Halloween lava lamp, and for this experiment you will need oil, water, a jar, I used a cup for today, food coloring optional, and Alka-Seltzer. So the first thing you're going to do is draw a design on your cup or jar. I made mine into like a funky Halloween face. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to pour it to about 1/4 of the way up with water. Okay, so you can see I have my water in there. The next thing you're going to do is add your food coloring. I was able to get some orange food coloring, so it looks like a pumpkin. So I'm going to add that in there. Cap it up so it doesn't fall over and make a mess. The next thing you're going to do is add the oil. And you want to add it not all the way to the top, you want to add it to just before the top. So pour your oil in, and you see it's trying to separate. And if you notice, my colored water is staying on the bottom and the oil is moving to the top. That's because water is a polar molecule, which means it has a negative end and a positive end, and those two ends attract to each other. Oil, however, is a nonpolar molecule, so that means it has a static charge throughout the entire molecule, and that is why it is not mixing with the water. Oil is also hydrophobic, which means it fears water, so it wants to do whatever it can to get as far away from water, so it is doing everything it can to stay away. So that is why your water is on the bottom and your oil is on the top, and due to density, your oil will stay on top. So the next thing you're going to do is take your Alka-Seltzer, and your Alka-Seltzer is made up of citric acid and sodium bicarbonate, and those are going to react with the water, and it's going to give you the lava lamp effect. So you're going to open up your Alka-Seltzer, and it comes in a nice round tab, and you're going to break it in half. So you only need half of it. Put the other half back in and save it for later. And then we're going to drop it in our cup and watch what happens. So that reaction is going to start taking place, and so when those two chemicals mix together with the water, it creates a carbon dioxide gas, and those bubbles are trying to get to the top, and that is what gives it the lava lamp effect. So all your colored water bubbles are floating to the top and coming back down, and they are filled with carbon dioxide gas. And you can do this experiment over and over again, which is really fun. So I'm going to set this all to the side. And if you listen when you do it at home very carefully, you can hear it fizzing. All right, the next experiment we're going to make is a catapult. And we get to launch things from it. And for this experiment, you need a plastic spoon, 5 rubber bands, and 7 craft sticks or popsicle sticks. So you might have to eat a lot of popsicles to make this craft happen. The very first thing you're going to want to do is take all 5 of your craft sticks, 5 of them, and you're going to stack them together. And you're going to take one rubber band, and you're going to rubber band it at one end. And I like to make sure it gets really tight. I don't want those craft sticks moving around, okay? So there's one end. You're going to take your other rubber band and rubber band up the other end so that you have a stack of 5 sticks rubber banded together. Set that to the side. Your remaining 2, you're going to stack on top of each other. I chose orange because it's Halloween, but if you're at home and all you have are plain colored ones, you can color them with marker. You can, if you have washi tape, you can decorate them with that. Make them however you want. And you're going to secure one end with a rubber band. Okay? Now, if you pry them apart, you're going to put them into a V shape. See, it turns into a V. And you're going to slide your stack of 5 into the V and move it down as far as it will go. And you kind of have to hold it there so it's tight. I like to take one more rubber band and put it in a crisscross pattern to secure it so that it doesn't move around. Kind of just make it happen, however. Okay, so you see how it's together? The next thing you're going to do is take your spoon, and you're going to secure the spoon to the top of the craft stick. Okay, I have to do it a few times. My rubber band's kind of big. And now you have built a catapult. So what you're going to do is, this is the science behind the catapult. This has stored energy. When I pull down on the spoon, the energy is being stored between the popsicle sticks and the spoon. And stored energy means that it will be released at any time. So as soon as I release my finger, that stored energy moves on to the next object, and it will move on to whatever object is in your catapult, and you let it go. So for today, I have this little pumpkin, and when you put that in there, and I pull the spoon down, I am now using stored energy because it's stored in the spoon and the sticks, and it's going to transfer to the pumpkin when I let it go. And then the pumpkin had all the energy, and that's what caused it to fly. So do it one more time. Catapult your pumpkin. And the path that my pumpkin traveled, so when it went from here to here, that is called trajectory. Now, if you're doing this at home, I recommend using Halloween candy like fruit snacks, or maybe peanut M&Ms, or regular M&Ms, or mini marshmallows, and then you can see, do certain objects fly farther? Do some fly a short distance? Do some fly higher? Do some fly lower? And if you really want to, I would say you could get some mini marshmallows and maybe see if you can get some to catapult into your brother or sister's mouth. Okay, the last experiment we're going to do is an exploding pumpkin. It's not really going to explode. It's actually an erupting pumpkin, okay? And for this experiment, you need a pumpkin, vinegar, which is right here, baking soda, 2 measuring cups, and food coloring is optional. Now, if you have your carved pumpkins from Halloween and you think, what should I do with this carved pumpkin? I say turn it into a science experiment. I'm just going to slide this down so it's in the camera. And I carved my pumpkin last night, and you can do this experiment over and over again. So I'm going to remove the lid to my pumpkin, and if you see, my pumpkin is empty, scooped all the stuff out of it, and I created a jack-o'-lantern face on there. And the first thing you're going to do is get your baking soda, and you want 1 cup of baking soda. Roughly a cup. It doesn't have to be an exact cup. Okay. And you pour it inside your pumpkin, okay? Now, if you choose to do colors, you can add your food coloring to the baking soda. I just put drops all around so that it kind of looks like a rainbow when it comes out. So that was pink and yellow. Maybe at home you can do green. And then I also did some blue in there, okay? So put all your food coloring in there. And the next thing you need is vinegar. So I need 2 cups of vinegar. And what's going to happen is there's a reaction between an acid and a base. So the baking soda is the base and the vinegar is the acid. So when I pour these 2 things together and mix them, it's going to create 2 different reactions. The first reaction is the acid and the base mixing together. So the hydrogen ions in the vinegar mix with the sodium bicarbonate of the baking soda, and it creates 2 new chemicals, and those are called carbonic acid and sodium acetate. And when the carbonic acid hits the baking soda, it instantly starts dissolving into water, and it gives you the foaming and fizzing reaction that comes out of the pumpkin. And if you see, it all came out in a rainbow pattern, and if you listen very carefully, you can hear it sizzing, and those are all the carbon dioxide bubbles that are being released from mixing the carbonic acid that is dissolving into the water, and that's what causes it to fizz and bubble. And if you want, I see I still have a little bit of baking soda in there. If you're at home, you can always add just a little bit more vinegar, and it'll still react. See, yep, it came out its mouth. If you enjoyed these science experiments, there are plenty of other Halloween science experiments that you can do, and there's lots of other non-Halloween science experiments that you can do. Check out all of our e-resources that we have at the library, and you can do that by clicking on the PDF that is associated with this video. I hope everyone has a happy Halloween, and see you next time. Bye!